I'm glad you're clarifying.
I want to hold one.
Another grandchild.
Another grandchild is always good.
Maybe out of fairness to Ellie, turn the camera a little bit so that she's not stuck in the middle of that.
Thank you.
Can zoom a little bit too, I guess. And you know what you forgot?
Why the single table? It's pretty. Oh,
Well, hey, it's hard to hear in this room. And I think when we're looking at each other, we might fight less. It seems like that's the hope, at least, right?
It never works.
You ever been out to Village of Lake George? Their
Like
chambers?
ages ago. No, what is theirs like?
They have a special U-shaped table.
Oh, yeah.
Zoom out a little bit.
I would at least like a tablecloth. This is, you get to see the bottom of our feet. It's nuts.
Liz Bill, will you lead us when I gavel us in? Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Being led by Liz Bill.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm wagering even money that is Carla Bittner walking in right now.
I almost made it. I got the reference.
You missed the pledge, that was it.
Frank, if I may have some sad news, I just learned that former Mayor Christine Fitzpatrick passed away earlier today.
Oh my.
And so she was the first woman to serve as mayor in the village's history. She is extremely competent and fair-minded as mayor and as trustee before that. She was very generous in the time and energy she gave to the village, both on the board and to the Friends of the Library. I knew her as a very decent, good-humored person, and I'll miss her as a friend and colleague. And I'm requesting maybe just a moment of silence in her honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's sad news.
We were asked to hold back on that, so I'm not prepared to provide a full synopsis of my motion toward this. So we'll be posting something later on now that it is in public view. So she will be remembered for many, many different things positively in this village. So I'll get into that later time. Let's see here. We are, welcome to the second ordinary meeting of the Village Board of Trustees in the Village of Ballston Spa for the month of November 2025. Can I get a motion that the minutes of the November 10th, 2025 meeting be approved?
I make the motion.
Trustee Condensa.
Second.
Trustee Price-Bush, discussion.
There's just one clarification. I just want to state, there's a sentence that says Trustee Baskin requested that zoning be on every agenda through December and would also like another special zoning meeting. And the clarification behind that, the point I was making was the fact that there were multiple issues that were discussed at the last special zoning meeting that the entire board acknowledged required further discussion to resolve. And my request to the board was to create a plan to finish the conversation that we had started, and whether that be a third special zoning meeting and or discussion at regular meetings. The sentence in the minutes requires that clarification in order to make sense. So I'll still approve the minutes as it is, but I just wanted to say that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. No presentations. Public comment on agenda items only. We will be adding to this with a walk-on for the Saratoga County Hazard Disaster Management Plan. Approval of it through a resolution that they request us to approve so that we are in sync with their hazard and disaster management plan. So that is added on as an agenda item for you to have 3 minutes to speak on. Should you want to speak on Zoom, please raise your hand. If you're in here, please raise your hand. Obviously, anybody like to speak to agenda items only? Liz?
Liz Cormos, 89 Hyde. I'd like to comment on old business zoning. It says currently in the attorney and consultant's hands. When will that be finished? And will it first be reviewed by the board and then passed on to planning and zoning?
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none on Zoom, seeing no hands in the audience, I will move this forward. Is there any consent agenda item that you'd like to remove from the consent agenda? Hearing nothing, can I get a motion to approve the items on the following consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Trustee Fandesa, Trustee Raymond, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that Stephen Porcello Jr. be appointed as a part-time police officer?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Fandesa.
I'll second.
Trustee Price Bush, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that Keith Parker be appointed as a part-time police officer?
I'll make the
Trustee
motion.
Fandesa.
I'll second.
Trustee Price Bush, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that John Hogan be appointed as a part-time police
I'll
officer?
make the motion.
Trustee Baskin.
I will second.
Trustee Fandesa, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion that Launching Pad Productions be granted permission to hang 20 promotional banners in the Village of Ballston Spa's street lamps along Front Street, Milton Avenue? 10 of the banners will feature the Launching Pad Productions logo, and the other 10 will highlight their upcoming production of Something Rotten Jr. from the early January 2026, through the first weekend of February 2026.
I'll make the motion.
I hear the Trustee Baskin, Trustee Fandesa on the second. Discussion.
Dana texted me. She hopes that we'll support it, and it's a good thing for the community.
Absolutely not.
Oh, don't tell Dana that. She won't be happy.
She texted me earlier about help her hang the no parking signs. And she just sleeps in with, "Hi, Frank." I'm like, "Hi." And she's funny. I love her.
We love Dana.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mayor's announcements have been,
Don't walk on.
oh, the walkout, excuse me. Do you have the resolution in front of you?
I can.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Can I get a motion accepting the following resolution adopting the Saratoga County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan Update of 2025, whereas the Village of Ballston Spa recognizes the threat that national hazards pose to people and property within the Village of Ballston Spa, and whereas the County of Saratoga has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as Saratoga County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan Update 2025, in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, and whereas Saratoga County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan Update 2025 identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in the Village of Ballston Spa from the impacts of future hazards and disasters, and whereas the adoption of the Village Board demonstrates their commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in Saratoga County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan Update 2025, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby adopts the Saratoga County Hazard Mitigation Action Plan Update 2025. This plan, approved by the community, may be edited or amended after submission for review, but will not require the community to re-adopt any further iterations. This only applies to this specific plan and does not absolve the community from updating the plan in 5 years.
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Fandesa.
I'll second.
Trustee Baskin, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. We do have to go for the vote in that manner. Thank you for catching that as E. And Mayor's announcements, and let in obviously with the somber news. We are preparing for holiday time. I noticed there might be a tree getting ready to become afoot in the park with good lighting around it at this point. So thanks to our DPW. Sean will probably give some updates on leaf pickup and whatnot, but they've been working their butts off throughout the community after paving was completed. And paving was also completed up on East High Street through the plans with Kiewit. And I can happily announce that we are going to be the recipients of $80,000 of sidewalk funding from CHPE after discussions with them based on the discussions we had last meeting. We are going to make sure that in our adoption of a new sidewalk code that Sean had begun talking about with us last meeting, that we embrace how to best manage and handle funding like that, because that will not be the last time that happens probably in the future. So For now, we'll make sure it's set aside in the appropriate manner and then make sure we handle it well with a priority to the folks on East High Street who bore the brunt of this the longest with the CHP trucks that went through. I think that's about it for tonight. Treasurer's report, there is none because our treasurer was on vacation. You know, God forbid we let her go away for a little while, but and she just got back and we'll get something from her next meeting. We are working, I will say, on getting the USDA loan closed in the next few weeks for the fire comfort truck, which has been delivered and paid for in the interim, but obviously we'll get reimbursed through the loan for that once that's closed. So we're working on that right now. And Carla's colleague, Larry Paltowitz, is working with us on that as our bond counsel. And so we're in great hands there. Liaison reports. Trustee Bernadette Fundates.
To start off, the Revitalized Ballston Spa committee, we had another public workshop. I see 3 folks that were there that night, so thank you for coming. And Mary as well, she was there too. And Ben, actually, so more than that. I apologize. 5. But there was a good, decent turnout. We wanted to touch base with people to make sure we were on the right track. We will have a regular committee meeting sometime in January. The date's not set yet, but we're trying to figure that out. But thank you to those who came out to participate and give their thoughts. The Business Association, Small Business Saturday is this upcoming Saturday. We encourage you to go out and support our small shops. The BSBPA is putting up information on their social media. And I believe also the shopping map will, like the online map is going to be up and running for that as well. Parade, as we voted on last meeting, December 5th, step off is at 6:30. They still need volunteers, so please reach out to Dana at ballston.org for anybody who's interested. They also wanted to thank the DPW. The tree is up and decorations are up as well. I know everybody's really excited about that, and so we'll get to enjoy that in the new park, which is lit up like so bright, which is good. And then on December 16th, they will be having their holiday mixer from 6 to 8 p.m. It's going to be at Iron's Edge, so hopefully y'all can join that. The fire contract for Milton has been signed. We're just waiting to hear from Ballston, and that's all I've got for today.
Mary.
Okay. Treasurer, or I'm going to read the treasurer's report since she's not here. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's fine. That's cute.
I'm reading the wrong line. Anyway, Thanksgiving, the community Thanksgiving meal is going to be Thursday, which is free to all. In case people don't know that, come in, eat, have a delicious meal. Volunteers are still welcomed Wednesday from 4 until whenever prep is done, and Thursday from 9 a.m. until whenever cleanup is done. Drivers are needed to help deliver the food. So you can just show up at this point, no need to call ahead. Library will be closed December 2nd through the 12th to perform the abatement work in the attic. And the book drop will also be closed, but any returns can be taken to area libraries or returned when they reopen. And Breakfast with Santa will be held Saturday, December 6th at 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. at St. Mary's School, $5 per person. And there will be Santa and Mrs. Claus, as well as food, music, and crafts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Baskin.
All right, we've got a little missive from Caitlin Parwana, the chair of the Park and Tree Board. She says the Park and Tree Board is so thrilled about the addition of lampposts in Lisboa Park! Exclamation point. Adding the lights to the park makes the years-long project feel a good bit more complete, and we couldn't be happier. The lampposts outside are looking beautiful, lighting the park. Have also have outlets to be used during vendor events, and these outlets have their own separate power source so as not to risk the blowing a fuse. We want to thank Labella for helping us find lampposts to look similar to the ones on the street for the sake of continuity, and especially a big thank you to our own village DPW for their hard work and efficiency installing them. We were also excited to see the holiday tree being installed in the park today in its new location in the center of the park. In other news, there was a meeting with the DEC regarding their tree maintenance grant. It's an urban forestry grant, which we were awarded a while back, and we now have the next steps to help us get moving forward. The grant is for tree maintenance, planting, and stump grinding in areas of the downtown business district. So it's a $40,000 grant with a $12,500 match from the village, but DPW may have already met that match with the work it's done. They just have to document what they've done and anything they continue to do in terms of tree maintenance. The grant ends June 2027. And the question I had, Frank, do you need to execute a contract related to that grant?
I am not sure because I haven't honestly received information related to
Oh,
it,
okay.
so. Yeah.
All right, so Caitlin can get back to you on
Yeah,
that.
if I do, we'll put it on an agenda.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if the board needs to vote on that or not, because we've already approved the grant, going for the grant, but.
We'd have to find the approval from back when. Probably the easiest way to just handle it is to vote it.
But there may be a contract involved.
Yeah.
And the board is also starting to work on next year's budget, and it's looking for ways to coordinate and streamline the watering for next year. So it's a little more coordinated. The next meeting is December 16th, 7 p.m., Cornell Cooperative Extension Conference Room. The Committee on the Arts, the next Sounds of Winter will be January 17th, 3 p.m. at Brookside. They typically sell out, so you want to make sure to get your tickets. They are free, but you do need to get a ticket at brookside.org. The Arabeth Piano Trio is on January 17th. That's piano, violin, and cello. And then the next concert is February 14th, Valentine's Day, Touch of Woodwinds, which is a chamber music group. Also, the first Friday, open mic at the Real McCoy Beer Company, 28 Washington Street. Sign-in starts at 5:30 p.m., so December 5th is the next one. And the next Committee on the Arts meeting will be December 3rd at 7 p.m. at Brookside. That's it.
And Sean,
All right, so
how much should we kill already on your list?
quite a bit of it. Yeah, he did say the new pole lights in Wisball Parks and installed outlets throughout. They've completed 2 rounds of leaf pickup and have 1 more after Thanksgiving, including a round of brush. The Christmas tree is Monday, going up, setting it up. And there's been a lot of public-private partnership and making that happen. Jordan Lime Company is letting us use their crane. Town of Greenfield is letting us use their lift and lowboy. And the town of Milton is letting us use their bucket truck. So big shout out to all those people. And decorations will be going up this week.
They're up.
They're up already?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
He's right, this week.
They're on top of it.
I guess
Dana
Monday
sent
is
me a
this week.
photo.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay. Well, this is zoning. Carla, I'm going to hand this over to you because we had talked earlier about the best timing approach with respect to what we just received from Chris and how you want to you look through it too and allow us a chance. And it doesn't really affect the timing by doing what you're suggesting, but I'll give it to you to make the full spiel on this.
Okay, thanks.
And thanks for putting this on the agenda at my request. I appreciate it. I also have some things I'll want to say after Carl is done.
Thank you for preempting.
I'm not, I'm just letting you know.
Go right ahead.
Okay. As the board is aware, I emailed them this afternoon. You did receive the proposal, or not the proposal, you received the draft from Chris and all of his explanations in there that had my information in there as well. So I was looking at the calendar, I was looking at the timeline, I was looking, at everything involved and the schedule of meetings with Trustee Raymond and Trustee Baskin's concerns with respect to the fact that they were unable to review what they got today. I proposed that what we do is let the board review it for the next week. Provide Chris and I with any comments by the 3rd, so that we can incorporate them into the draft. And then on the 8th, you can actually vote on your seeker, because you have to designate yourselves as lead agency. And at that point, we will amend the motion that was made last week to submit to planning and zoning. I also submitted to you folks a proposed timeline, and if you look at it, the reason you only have one meeting in December, that's the 8th, the way it works under the zoning code, the zoning law, is that the planning board and the zoning board have 30 days to get you comments. Well, even if we gave it to them today, that would be Christmas Eve. It wouldn't be until January anyway. So by moving this out and giving a couple more weeks for the board to digest what they got today, it makes sense so that at the next meeting, they can recommend and review to planning and zoning. Planning and zoning then would review everything by January 8th. Then at your first meeting in January, they would come to the meeting and provide their recommendations. You then take the month to review it. You would refer it to Saratoga County Planning, depending on the dates, either in January or February. And then after Saratoga Planning, that's when you can have your public hearing. Have your public hearing January, February, and maybe the plan could be adopted, at least by what I provided to you, in February of 26. I think this really helps alleviate the concerns that have been raised by members of the board with respect to the fact that they didn't know what was going to be in today's, it wasn't right, it wasn't proper, so this cleans everything up, this makes it move forward. I have requested that the board provide me comments on, and really focus on the changes that were recently made and not kind of go back and do a full review again, so we can actually get it to the next step. That's my proposal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carla.
No problem, Ben.
I appreciate that you were able to get this to us before before this meeting at 4:20 p.m. and also your revised timeline that allows us to actually read it and see it before it's sent to the planning board. So I think that is a logical sequence of events rather than just sending it forward without seeing it. I was able to look at Chris's list of changes. On November 18th, I sent an email to the board, Chris and Carla, with all the issues the board agreed to at the October 27th meeting, and they have been essentially included in the draft sent today, so thanks for doing that. There is one area that just, I think, an oversight. We talked about changing the alternate planning board ZBA from 1 year to 2 year, and you did that in several places, but there's other places that it still says 1 year. That's on page 83 and page 94.
You saw that at 4:30 today?
Yes. Well, this afternoon, this evening, I checked on Chris's, I didn't read the whole document, but I checked on Chris's changes. So that's just a small, it says it in different places in the document, and
Okay.
so, but everything else was included. And I just still want to say, though, there's still important issues discussed at the last zoning meeting on 10/27, 1 month ago. The board agreed it would pursue and revisit at that time, and they include revised zoning boundaries for residential. And at the time, Frank requested that I produce a zoning map for consideration. I provided a map for discussion 3 or 4 weeks ago. It logically separates out the suburban style, no sidewalk neighborhoods into one zone, and the older neighborhoods with sidewalks into a separate zone, similar to a map produced last June by Chris and company. I would think the residents of the suburban zones, quote unquote, would want many fewer allowed residential uses than other residential zones, and something that I think we should be looking at now. Another issue requiring owner-occupied for 2-family dwellings, to address Bernadette's concern that she had at the last zoning meeting. Didn't want a lot of single-family turning into 2-family as a result of out-of-town landlords. Bernadette also wanted to expand the R2 zone, and you said you sent an email to Chris. Did you ever have emails with Chris about expanding the R2 zone?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that might be a good conversation to have and worth having. Also unresolved, as you all know, minimum square foot lot size in residential. I did follow with calculations that I've sent to you that show 4,000 square foot is not supported by the numbers, and it should be larger. I've asked everyone involved, and no one can show me numbers indicating 4,000 square feet is the 10th percentile. It isn't. 5,000 is also below the 10th percentile for the most part, but it's closer to, it's better than 4,000. That conversation should be resolved. There's still, currently, the zoning allows illuminated signs in residential zones. And so we do have standards for non-residential uses in residential zones that Chris sent after the meeting, but we've never actually discussed them. But they are in the draft, so I'm glad about that, but I think that it needs conversation. Well, and lastly, we haven't talked about it much, but I personally don't support cluster development in except in undeveloped areas such as the former nursing home and county buildings, Angelica site, in accordance with the comprehensive plan. I don't think they belong anywhere else in residential, but we never really started that conversation in any detail. But these are a handful of issues that I feel should have been discussed and addressed prior to today, as the board agreed we would do at the special zoning meeting October 27th. Instead, the board let another month slip away, and even today we could be discussing resolving these issues if we desired, meeting our responsibilities as trustees to draft a zoning law free of obvious deficiencies and as complete as possible prior to sending to the planning board. Since we are not doing our job, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be up to the public to keep your eye on these changes, and if you want them to be as clear about that and vocal about that as possible, because you won't necessarily have people on this board talking about those changes. So you guys are the next step, is feedback. Carly, you mentioned a public hearing. Frank has mentioned that he thinks there will be a need for 2 public hearings, so we might want to put that in the timeline. And that's what I have to say about that.
Thank you. Interpretation services, currently in State of New York's hands per required RFQ process. Jen, if you want to give an update on your end?
Today was the last day of the questioning period, so they will compile the questions and then get them to me. They did not by the end of business today, so.
Great. Well, thanks for sending it in, and thanks for, and could I get be forwarded the questions? I'm curious about what they would be.
Sure.
As someone who wrote out the specs for that. Thank you. And then it looks like the date for responses to questions, and I'd be happy to assist with responses, obviously reviewed by Frank and the board. The date is December 5th. And then the quotes are due December 19th. So thanks for moving that forward. I appreciate that.
Filling vacancies on village boards, committees, just as information, no known committee vacancies. Ethics board's working on their process and law moving forward. Go ahead.
Thanks for your little your comments in the parentheses there. There are open seats on the planning board. There are, or we know there will soon be, but multiple on planning board, ZBA, ethics board, and then there's this traffic calming grant that also requires a committee. And I guess I would just urge the mayor to post these. Obviously, many of these are your choice, but I think it would make sense for you and for the village's benefit to have as wide a sample of people who potentially could be interested possible to choose from. And so, it could be on the Facebook page, it could be on the website, and at least at these meetings, we can announce that if people are interested, they could apply. And obviously, again, if it's an opening that is previous or prior to the end of the term, that's your call. And then you mentioned again that you're working on a process for the ethics law moving forward. When Liz, Sean, and I were in the majority and helping to write the ethics law, we made a point of making sure that the ethics law was a bipartisan kind of law and inclusive. And so we put certain qualifications of board members, ethics board members, in the law to reflect a bipartisan approach. And some of this, I think, Bernadette, you actually requested some of this, and we put that in as a result. One, all members of the Board of Ethics must be residents of the Village of Ballston Spa. That's obvious. Number two, no member of the Board of Ethics shall be a political committee person, hold office in a partisan political organization, or hold elected office. Again, trying to decrease the politics of the position. We also said not more than 3 members of the Board of Ethics may be members of the same political party. And we also said no current officer or employee of the Village of Ballston Spa is eligible to serve on the Board of Ethics. The other thing we put in there was when a new person at the end of the term is being appointed, that it must be approved by 4 members of the board. So those are ways we were trying to ensure that there was widespread partisan support within the board. And Frank, I'm just wondering, are you intending to change any of those qualification issues with the ethics law?
I have no idea what you're even talking about right now. Right now, we have a ethics board, which is part of their obligation to review the code from time to time and to recommend changes. And based on the fact that the current chair is probably going to be rolling off very soon, it was a good time to get her input since she's been the chair for how long. And there may be others that are rolling off, but I don't want to lose their institutional knowledge before they leave to see where things could be improved, changed, et cetera. So that's what they're doing.
You've indicated you want to make some changes, and so I'm asking you if any of the changes or any of the parts of the ethics board I mentioned.
I haven't even looked to that.
But you know you want to make changes, but you just don't know what they are.
No, what I think I'm hearing Frank say is that he's put it toward their board and to see, does there need to be adjustments? And really kind of take the cue from them. That's what it sounds like I'm hearing.
That's the way it's supposed to work, if I'm
So
correctly.
you have no changes in mind at this point in time?
No, one of the things I do know needs to be improved is identifying whose term is what. So that's got to be improved for future reference. But beyond that, I want to see what there's a general dissatisfaction right now, from what I understand, about how it's been operating. And so if that's the case, then I'd like to hear from them, what do you think is broken and how would you suggest to fix it? Ultimately, it doesn't mean we'll agree to do exactly what they're saying, but we need to know what the hell it is in the first place.
But how, so since you don't have any specific changes in mind, how would this process interfere with you appointing someone whose a seat that's been vacant for 2 or 3 months? I mean, can't that be filled, and then you'd have more people to consult with on the changes of the ethics board?
At this point, Ben, no. And realistically, if you read the process that you wrote, it's not that easy. So.
Oh, it's pretty straightforward.
No, it's not actually, because basically there's a double interview process that it has to go on with it. I can submit names, they have to interview, and ultimately the board or the mayor or whatever has to make the decision from there based on the advice.
That's for when a term is just starting.
Well,
not for the term that ended early.
I still would go to the same process for mine in that respect, with respect to making sure that somebody is vetting an ethics board.
All right, so now you're saying it's a good idea, but it's your discretion. It's your discretion if you do that before the term ends. You could just appoint someone now, and you're reasoning that there's some changes you want to make. You haven't expressed what changes would interfere with you appointing someone.
No, I can't just appoint somebody, because first off, I would have to abide by the no more than 3 members of the same political persuasion piece. So I would need to figure out what the person's leaning is or registration is in that situation.
So that's an issue for you?
It's not an issue. Ben, what are you doing?
I'm just wondering if that's something you want to change.
No.
Okay, because that's manageable. That's a manageable thing.
Public comment on any issue, 3 minutes for any issue. If you're on Zoom and would like to talk, please raise your hand there. And here again, if you'd like to talk. I'm shocked Liz wants to go.
I just had a comment on the zoning code, which Ben mentioned, the list almost 89 high, the 4,000 square foot. The logic that Chris gave, that's sort of protected because there's a 50-foot frontage. If you look at the data, and I, have the assessment database from about 2 years ago, I don't think property has changed, maybe somebody's subdivided a lot here and there, but I looked at it, and 1/3 of the properties in my area, you know, between Hyde and Malta, have 100 feet or more frontage. So that's not gonna protect. And then the other neighborhoods is like 20% of them. So that comment that protects, you know, from subdivision is, there's a significant number of properties that could technically be subdivided if you do that 4,000 square foot. And I think it should be enlarged. And actually, I think the recommendation for the more suburban lots is to have a bigger minimum, like 10,000. So anyways, I thought that I should point that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Marilyn?
Marilyn Stevenson, 45 West High Street. I'm a member of the Ballston Spa House and Garden Club. I just would point out that the club did the exterior holiday decorations around the library on Tuesday. We also have a wreath ceremony planned for the Veterans Memorial on Low Street. It will be Friday, December 5th at 12 noon. It's part of our mission to not only beautify the village in its entirety, but we also have a civic duty to perform these wreath laying ceremonies. The public is invited, and this is a solemn event to honor deceased veterans during the holidays. We're doing it on the Friday of the village-wide celebration. So I invite the community to attend, and it should take less than 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none. Other business included but not limited to board response, public comment. Sean?
All I really have is, I had just found out about, Ms. Kirkpatrick, and she's was very well loved. I considered her a good friend and a colleague, and she'll be sorely missed.
Ben?
Just one more thought about the ethics law. I know one issue that was unorthodox that was put in the law, actually at your request, Frank, is something about prohibiting village officials from lying, and that has created more work for them. I know Carla cautioned us about not putting that in, so that could be something to look at. That's it.
Mary?
Yeah, I just want to repeat what Sean had said, and Christine, all the work that she's done for the village and everyone who, you know, she's encountered. She's always been very fair to everyone, great sense of humor, and, you know, I thank her for all of her dedication to the village.
Bernadette?
A couple things. I just want to applaud LifeWorks and the area churches in the village. I know the churches, the BACA Association, they handed out like 250, I think, bags to families that needed food for Thanksgiving. I don't know LifeWorks number offhand, but it's a huge operation. Frank and I've delivered one year, and I know that they also do a ton of deliveries and also in-person pickups. So just thankful to the community for, you know, always stepping up, especially around in community Thanksgiving dinner. I know it's really important for those who are food insecure, but also like shut-ins and just people that want to make connections with people. So I just want to applaud all of them. And Christine will be very much missed. I loved her sassiness and spunkiness, and she was just really fun to get to know. So I know everybody in this community is sad. So, you know, that's it.
Like I said, I'll have more on that at another point. Can I get a motion that the vouchers be audited and the meeting be adjourned at 7:39 p.m.?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Condensa, Trustee Raymond, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See everybody December 8th for our final meeting of the year.
Said that they delivered on the 7th.
Yeah, it's like thousands, but it was like, yeah. That's wild. They're so good about it. It's like a military operation. You didn't eat it.
I did, well, how long we're gonna be.
I was like, just in
I went
case.
and saw Wicked yesterday.
Oh, did you?
At one point, I'm like,
Oh, no. I didn't realize it was already out. I think Mom and I are gonna try to go, Friday. Is it good?
really good. I
Um,
think I'm going. I think it's this week, yeah. I went with my daughter and her friend. And my son's going to college and now he wants me to go.
nice.